Welcome back to Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Join us as we venture year-round into the fog.
Make sure you give us a like and a follow on your podcast platform of choice. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube page where we upload every episode in its video format, and maybe a few other surprises as well.
Make sure you're following us on social media to keep up to date with our newest haunted content.
I'm Nick.
I'm Seamus.
I'm Jamie.
No tickets, no announcements, just more speculation and rumors. We figured it's been a little bit since we kind of talked, all three of us, on this stuff. I mean, we kind of discussed the map a little bit, but I feel like rumors have sort of kind of come and gone weirdly this year. And there's been a handful that have already come and gone, and then there's some that have stuck around. So I figured this is a good as time as any to just sort of do a full-on either speculation scuttlebutt episode or a full-on rumor roundup episode, just to kind of bring us up to the same point, just so we're all caught up to speed on everything. Because I think there's been a couple episodes where stuff was sort of rumored and we only had two of us on, and then we were all on for maps, and so I think thoughts have just kind of been everywhere. So let's just kind of talk through everything, see what we're thinking about this year as a whole. There's been a couple new little rumors that have popped up here and there, but I don't have a lot of stock in all of or any of them really at this point. We'll kind of get through those when we get through those. But of course, I am joined with everybody today. Jamie and Seamus are joining alongside, and we are ready to rip through this stuff. So let's get into the beer. I have Hopsterical. I picked this up a couple weeks ago. Pretty cool little can art. A little owl on there. A little shine on the camera. But this is from Arcane Ale Works. This is a nano brew in Largo, Florida. And it's really just described as a crazy hoppy IPA. There's not much flavor profile on there as far as description, but I'm gonna tap into this and see what we got. And I do have a new setup today. We got kind of moved the room around a little bit. So if you pay attention to those little things like the background and whatnot, I got a whole new little get up going, that's for sure. Alrighty. Seamus, do you have anything you're drinking tonight?
Nothing special, just a yingy dingy.
A little Yingling?
Yangling.
Ying-a-linger?
World's oldest brewery.
Which is like weird.
America's oldest brewery. I better correct myself on that one before I get flamed in the comments.
We at work we like consider Yingling a local because I mean for the longest time there was the brewery in Tampa, but it's like isn't it Pennsylvania? Right?
It is Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Pottsville.
I remember back. Go.
No, I just said there is the thing about Yingling is it's. I guess it's technically considered a craft brewery. I guess. I don't know if someone could correct me on that one, but I'm pretty sure that they still consider themselves a craft brewery. But you know, for a macro beer, I'll still consider it a macro beer because I can get it anywhere on macro shelves. It's probably one of the better ones. I do wish that we could get the damn Hershey's special one they do like every year.
Yep.
We can never get it around here, and like never finds its way this far south. At least as far as I can never tell, but unless like they give us like 12 cases for Florida, and then by the time I go looking for it, it's already gone. But
right,
they do like a black and tan with Yingling and Hershey's.
Hershey, yeah.
But I never seem to get it, which kind of sucks.
Jamie, did you grab something? I saw you run out of the room.
No, it's because Boots was whining and I could hear him, and I didn't want to pick up on the camera.
Oh, okay. All right.
I actually have water in my new squishy cup that I got from Universal the other day, though. Very fun. If you're looking for a cheap souvenir, $10.45, and your free squishies first squishy is free.
Yeah, get
good deal.
Those Simpsons, get that Simpsons shit while you can.
I know. Someone told me that the other day. I brought this to
Not
work.
long for this world.
And someone was like, all the Simpsons stuff's about to be gone. And I was like, damn, you're right. I forgot.
Yeah, this is
Disney ruining everything.
This is a good IPA. It's not a great. It's just this is pretty like in the middle, right, for me. It's about as average as an IPA can taste. It tastes like a little bit of like lighter highlight.
Huh.
It tastes mainstream. Usually with these micros, they try some like funky stuff, to kind of differentiate themselves. But I mean, off the nose, it was very hoppy. I could smell it as I poured it. But the taste is very, I'd say, neutral at best, which is not a bad thing. It just kind of right in the middle. But while we are talking about beer, we got a couple little things to talk about before we get into all the rumors. If you are local to the area, we have, well, not we, but there's an event going on called Smash Fest. This is a beer fest. It's May 31st. It's hosted by Hourglass Brewing up in Longwood. There's going to be 20 plus brewers there. I had the list in front of me. There's Ivanhoe, Flying Monkey, Ravenous Pig, Windermere, Celebration, Rock Pit, Warhammer, D's Brothers, Gatlin, Home State. There's a whole bunch of them. Sanford Tactical, Toll Road. There's a whole bunch of breweries that are going to be there. But on top of that, they also have this thing called Mayhem on Mills. It's like amateur wrestling they're going to have at this event called Smash Fest. And all the proceeds are donated to Second Harvest, which is a local kind of organization that we also do work with at Top Golf. Our work does. So if you head over to flsmash.com, you can purchase your tickets. You want to get your tickets in advance because we have a special code for you. We have a 20% off coupon code. It is Fear and Beer 20, all lowercase. So it's Fear and Beer 20. So FEARANDBEER 20. That'll get you 20% off your ticket. I think one of us will be there. I know I'm going to be gone in Massachusetts, so we'll talk about this probably more on the next couple episodes. But I'll be gone that weekend. I think Seamus or Jamie might go, but it sounds like a really cool time. I'm really bummed I won't be able to go, but this is kind of like right up our alley. So we kind of got brought in and just said, hey, if you guys want to talk about it. We'll give you guys a code. So there it is. So if you're local and you want to go check it out, use your code.
Be there sampling the beers. So if you want to come hang out and say hi, I'll at least be there. So.
I'll try to make
There's
it
a
out
lot
as
of
well.
good breweries too. There's a lot of good stuff. And then more on our end, we have our trivia night coming up. That's going to be May 21st. That is at Top Golf Orlando. This is celebrating wild
5 years.
5 years. It's insane. 5 years of us as a podcast. It's also 100 days exactly until Halloween Horror Nights. So we will soon be into double digits. And it is the night before Epic opens. And if you don't know, Top Golf is right down the street from Epic. So if you're in town already to visit the park, we're less than a mile down the road from the hotels.
You could literally walk there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, Nick, but
you could.
You could.
Yeah. But it's going to be a really fun night. Obviously, we're hosting it alongside Haunt Scene, Catacombs at Halloween Horror Nights, Haunt Girls, Rush of Fear, and Dakota from Cathode Coasters and Horror Nights Gauntlet. We also have our friends Murder on Main and DOA Clothing. They're going to be there selling some merch. They always put together really cool bundles of different shirts and all kinds of stuff. I like their little mystery bundles they got going on. I went over the prizes. I know if you check out on our Instagram, we have a reel of all the little nonsense that I purchased last year. I forgot I bought it all, but I went to... on the last clearance night, I went and just bought a bunch of random bullshit, put it in a bag, and then forgot about it. So go check out our Instagram. You can see all the different prizes. But I know first place will be coming home with this. This is a $50 Universal gift card. So you could use it at Epic the next day, or you could wait and hold on to it for Horror Nights. But
big time now, giving away gift cards.
Gift cards, right?
God
not
damn.
Sponsored. This is coming out of our own
desperately
pockets.
need listeners. This is what this is for. Please listen to us.
Do you guys? Well, what is? I always, whenever I question if people care about us, I always think of Pop Star, the movie.
Oh
See
yeah,
that?
yeah.
He's on the stage. He's like, "Which ones of you bought my new album?" Everyone cheers.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're all liars. None of you. Do you even love me anymore?" Shout out Pop Star. I didn't think I'd be making a Pop Star reference
Shout out Andy
tonight.
Samberg.
Andy Samberg. Go check it out. It's actually on Netflix, or it's at least coming to
Is
Netflix.
it really? I have to go watch it.
We gotta
We watched
rewatch it.
once together.
That is one of my favorite movies. It is
Absolutely hilarious.
All right, movie night. I'm coming over at some point.
Yep,
We're gonna
do
watch
it.
that movie together.
Do the donkey roll.
I think I'm gonna learn the donkey roll.
Get there early for trivia night
Yes,
because it fills up fast. We had people turning away because we couldn't get a table. So if you plan on coming, especially with a group of people, try to get there like 45 minutes before.
Yeah, we last May was insane. The last May trivia was really out there. October one was really good too, but definitely not as much as May. I think we kind of learned the lesson where October people might be a little bit tired
Busy
from going to HHN, and May people are more excited. So I'm hoping we have that same giant turnout. We have a lot of great prizes, a lot of great people, some fun questions, and I'm going to add as many tables as I can to the area to try to accommodate, but we can only do so much. So do get there earlier-ish. I think the start time, I should have probably said that. I didn't say the start time. We're going to start at 7:30 or around 7:30. I know we always kind of drag a little bit just to make sure everyone gets there on time. But try to be there at least like 45 minutes or so before just to secure a spot. And even if it's just one person coming, I can figure out where you're going to go based off of your party size. If you have 5 people, take one of the bigger tables. If you have just 1 or 2 people, there's booths, but you can also sit right at the bar top.
Space too.
Yeah, the bar is a big bar, and the bartenders love when we do the trivia night. I have the same. My buddy Mike.
Is Mike working? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. If you've been to a trivia night before, you've probably seen Mike. He's always hyped up on it. He's always like, "Oh, let me know when you're doing it. I'm going to request like specifically to work." So sit at the bar top and hang out with my buddy Mike, and it's just going to be a good time. I'm really excited. These trivia events are fun and wild.
Make fun of me because I'm not going to Epic opening weekend like everybody else is.
It's fun, but you're better off to kind of wait the crowd out a little bit.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Mm-hmm. I thought I had one more thing for trivia, but maybe not. We will. The last 2 events we live streamed. We have the plans to do that as well on YouTube. So if you aren't in the area, you can attend virtually. No prizes, unfortunately, but you can still play along. And it's one of those things where we just kind of set it, forget it, and hope you can hear everything. And that's kind of that. But I think that's about it as far as like outside stuff. We do have another event coming up in June, which I think we'll probably start talking about a little bit more once trivia is over. So that way we're not throwing too much out there right now. But that's going to be really fun as well. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for once, trivia wraps up and we're kind of moving on to the next thing. But yeah, let's get into it. I kind of just made a list of all the different rumors and speculation. No rhyme or reason. This was just kind of a hodgepodge list. I remember some of the sources on these, but some of them I really just last minute threw all these on a list, and there's no particular order of like when they came out, who said it. So these are all things that have just been floating around in the HHN atmosphere in regards to this year in the last couple of months. So we're going to kind of go down the list, maybe give our thoughts on it. Some we've talked about more than others. And yeah, that's that. I mean, a handful of these we've talked about plenty of times, so we don't have to dive too much into it. But I guess right at the bat, Fallout. That seems to be the one that's stuck around the longest. We are pretty, I don't want to say sure, but like the confidence is there because it's been around for so long. I'm looking at the lineup for this year, the potential lineup, and it looks like it was made for Fear and Beer. Like there's just like the number one wish list items for most of us, one of which is recently rumored, and I don't even know if you know about it, Seamus.
Probably not. I don't pay attention to anything. I find out about stuff the night you guys find out about stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because Nick will tell me something, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, Fallout is, I think, since we talked about it last lead up, so like last year, I know Jamie had brought it up, this show was coming out, and there were talks that, maybe they're going to get Fallout at some point in the future. We had talked about it a little bit. I think last year we were kind of like, probably won't be there, but it would be pretty cool. And now, leading into this season, there's been a lot of chatter about it, a lot of good vibes. People have really been kind of feeling it, and I think there hasn't been a ton of negativity about it either.
No.
I know initially we got a little bit of the like, is it really horror? Like, does it really fit? But I think for the most part, almost everybody I've talked to is like either excited for this or like cautiously optimistic, kind of like how we were with a few things last year. So I'm super excited for it. Obviously, this is going to be my house if this happens. And I think that I think all of us are relatively confident that we're going to see it this year.
I was a year too early calling stuff. The one time I actually I was like,
right,
you know what, maybe
right.
Fallout.
I said you might be right.
Well, I was like, I went back and looked at our guess map from the previous year, and I had like 3 things on there that are pretty heavily rumored for this year. It's like, damn it, I was so close. I was off by years, bitch. Or they're watching our page specifically and being like, you know what, these guys are onto something.
Might be
here.
onto something. That's what I was hoping.
Let's call them up. But yeah, Fallout's going to be interesting. I haven't really seen one way or the other if it's TV show or video game. I think the TV show makes sense in the fact that it's like one story that they can follow. But I feel like the games would make a little bit more sense because you don't have to really pay for likeness rights of like actors and stuff. So I'm not sure which direction they're going. I haven't seen anything one way or the other. If you had to guess, what would you say? Would you say game or
I think game, because I remember last year everybody was talking about The Last of Us being the year before. God,
I know. I always
when they did Last of Us, everyone was like, "Oh, well, the TV show just came out. It must be with the TV show." But then it turns out they had a deal with Sony itself, like to do the game. They worked with the game studio on making that house. So I would be pretty confident in saying that this will be the game, especially considering that like how serious they took the show. When I say they, I mean Bethesda, the developers, and they gave them access to all the information, all of the files, so they could 3D print all of the stuff from the game directly. So like everything that was in it was like 100% true to the source material. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda was like, yeah, shit, let's just do it. That'd be sick. We did the show. The show was a big hit. I think it'd be kind of cool if people would experience that. And I really do think that this will potentially be the IP that brings in the majority of quote unquote normies, as we like to call everybody that isn't a member of our community that can't live without horror. I think that this will be one of those ones that really drives the foot traffic, which can be good or bad, because especially for me, especially if it's like the house that I want to do and it's going to be an hour and 90 minutes every night, that's going to suck. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure that this will be that house that draws a lot of people. And I think partially because of the show. I think the show helped The Last of Us be as popular as it was. I think if there wasn't a show for The Last of Us, it would not nearly have been as
yeah, I agree with that.
A draw as it was. But I think with the show, it helped, and I think a lot of people were expecting that, and it wasn't that. With Fallout, I think similar, but maybe a little bit more of a crowd of those that are familiar with the game, just because it's been around for so long.
And again, looking at this list as a whole, I'm very curious when we get to our 1 week till HHN Podathon and we do our kind of guess the weights. There's a lot of like heavy hitters on here, or potential heavy hitters. Like this, all of these could be number ones on their own year. So I'm curious where the crowd's going to go. Maybe they're doing it because people are going to be in town for Epic, so they're like, we're done with the budget stuff. We're going.
Yeah, I think part of it is Mike being back in the fold. I think having Mike back in the fold helps. I think the direction is there. Not to say that they didn't have direction without him, but I feel like part of his thinking is we need to give enough people something to look forward to. If you only have one massive whether it's IP or original, whatever it is, if you've only got one big house and that eats up the majority of the crowd, it doesn't balance well. And I think you need to have a balance. Like last year, I think there was a relatively decent balance last year of the houses, even if they were kind of weak for a year. I still think there was enough of a balance between the originals and the IPs that it wasn't so bad. But like the year prior, where The Last of Us was such a clear winner as far as the crowd size was, it kind of throws off the balance a little bit. It works out for some people like us, generally, I don't want to generalize everybody, but like Nick and I, with the originals, it's great because we can go in and we can get through 7 or 8 houses in a busy night because the houses we go through don't have the hour and a half wait usually.
Yeah.
I think with this, it'll keep everything somewhat even, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, we do need that variety nowadays because you look back at what most people consider one of the better years, like Carnival of Carnage in 2007. Like I just pulled up the lineup, and that was when you had Dead Silence. That was sort of the outlier, but like you had Nightmare on Elm Street, Chainsaw, and Friday the 13th. Like for us, that's all great. Like that's like an awesome year. But to bring in other people, like it doesn't work as much from a business standpoint. It's a lot of horror, but it's kind of all the same little corner of horror versus you're looking at video games, sports entertainment, underground slashers, like there's like you're reaching all these different little pockets of potential guests. And that's where we are in this day and age now at HHN. It has to be this a little bit for everybody. Like you said, that was a good point, but any last Fallout thoughts? I mean, I think this is also we talked about before, but a no-brainer for merch. This thing is gonna crush.
Yeah, they're gonna sell so much shit.
Yeah. You're muted, Jamie.
Whoopsies. Sure. I was just gonna say, Nick, I know you're more on Discord and stuff like that, but I feel like I haven't really heard any like Fallout stuff since the last like spec map we got. Is it still like in the talks?
Yeah, I mean it's still on the maps. I mean people aren't talking about it as much just because it is kind of old news at this point, but it's still there. It's not been pushed away at all. So yeah. So the next one, let's go to. We have Scream. Scream was rumored a little while ago. I don't want to say it wasn't the first. There was like 3 or 4 rumors that have stuck around, and then Scream kind of came out of left field. But that one is one that has sort of died out. I don't think that this one is.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one's kind of quick. Definitely tapered off. I don't think for a while there, people were like super, in the weeds with it, and they're like, yeah, I think this is gonna happen. I think we're finally gonna get Scream. There's this and there's that, and then the first spec map didn't help because you had that stupid ghost. Anytime you see anything having to do with a ghost, everyone just immediately thinks that's got to be Ghostface. I mean, it's the only ghost I can think of.
Yeah.
Horror. I mean, it's the only horror ghost I know of.
Right.
And I think when we got the next map and it wasn't there anymore, I think it's kind of petered a little bit. Sorry, my dog's want to join in, but yeah, I definitely think that of all this rumors that we've heard about, people have talked about, I think Scream is kind of at the point where it's on the way out. I think for the most part, it's harder to justify that it's going to be there. I'm sure there's still a chance, but as of right now, I haven't seen or heard anything that makes me think that this is still, an actual potential opportunity. So we may have to wait another year for Scream.
Sayonara, Ghostface.
Yeah, I think Scream is dead and gone, buried, and that's about that. It was a fun rumor while it lasted, but it's just that slippery little fucker. Just never wants to come to Horror Nights, which is sad because it has potential to be a really cool house, but the rights are just insane at this point, and
it's an situation.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things where it's got to be difficult to get the rights to certain things that, depending on who the rights owner is. Like, I'm sure Stephen King, as much as I love the guy, I'm sure it's really hard to get anything related to him. I'm sure Miramax, older studios that either don't exist anymore or have been absolved into other studios, it's harder to get them to agree to something because they don't want to take the risk. Mm-hmm. And you would think that, well, it's Horror Nights, how can it be a risk? There's a risk there, I think, especially of them watering the character down, not getting it right. And studios are wary of that, so it's it's tough. Plus, it can be expensive too. I'm sure it's not cheap. I'm sure they're not just giving away access to Ghostface.
Oh God,
especially
no.
considering the new movies that have been coming out. It's still pretty popular.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? If you have new movies, but we want to do like the old stuff, it's like, well, they don't want us to do Scream
Right.
original because that doesn't draw
They
them
wanna
to the
push
new
the movie.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so it's you get put in that like little tug of war situation where it's just like, well, we don't want, and that's exactly what happened
Which
the
is
first time
why
Scream was supposed to
I
happen.
wonder why we haven't seen Netflix in a couple years now. We haven't heard anything this year about Netflix, and I think that maybe they got a little too handsy with it, and Universal said, "Well, you know what? We did Stranger Things. It worked out great for us, but we just don't want to risk doing something like Fear Street and then not getting to really do it the way we want to do it."
Yeah, I just don't think that there's as many opportunities right now on that. And I think Stranger Things will be back next year once the final season.
And again, I'm not trying to derail the discussion, but I think that's why they still do a lot of things with Blumhouse, because Blumhouse is a little more open. I think that they're not as anal about doing things a certain way. I'm sure that they have a level of control over what goes in and doesn't go in and what the story is, but I feel like Universal has more of an opportunity to kind of play with the story or play with the characters in a way that other studios won't. So I'm sure that that's definitely part of it. So Scream, unfortunately, I think is just one of those ones that if they were to get it, like you said, Nick, I think it's just going to be super tight on their end. They're not going to be able to do anything with it, and it's going to be very controlled and very heavily studio, and it just may not fit what they're thinking about doing with it.
Yeah, and with Blumhouse, there's so much to work with. There's so much variety. So like it's the same thing, but like not really. And it's fresh too. They're putting out like 2 or 3 movies a year. Obviously we'll go back to the same well of like the popular, the Megans and Grabber and stuff like that. But
Megan's the one we're gonna get next, I think.
Yeah, but there's just there's new stuff always to play with. So I'm still holding out for a totally killer reference.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm still holding out for a full Sinister House too, Nick, so don't worry.
I would be okay with the Blumhouse, hodgepodge. Give me a what do you call it?
I liked when they did the mashup
Compilation.
houses, yeah.
Like a mashup.
Yeah, when they're done right, it's fine. So next on our little list we have Poltergeist, which might only be half dead, seemingly. It does seem like the compass has pointed west on Poltergeist. I think people are leaning towards that being a Hollywood exclusive at this point, and us not repeating Poltergeist. So obviously Hollywood sort of repeats a little bit, or pretty often, honestly, as opposed to us, where we really don't. So I think this is making its way out of Orlando and giving some space to another property, another IP, which I think the IP might be exclusive to Orlando. But again, rumors are rumors. So Poltergeist, are you okay with not seeing it, Jamie?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I would have liked it to come only for the reason that I didn't get to do the Poltergeist house when they originally had it at HHN here in Orlando. But it does make sense for Hollywood to get it. I don't think they have gotten in the past, or it's been a little while since they've had it, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not up and up on Hollywood's house lists.
But it is one of those classic horror films that I feel like I watched growing up and definitely always gave me the creeps. And they're here, and then the little clown, and yeah. So it would have been cool to see, but I'm fine with having something else that we haven't seen, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember going through the house a little bit. That was when I was only going once a year, I think, or minimal times. But I watched the walkthrough on one of the YouTube lives, and it was really cool. But I'm open and willing to bypass it to get something different. I'm willing to roll the dice on it. I think we can do better on this one. It's like taking a hit on 17. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling like a 3 might be coming up.
Yeah.
I might be able to sit at a 20 right there. Seamus, any thoughts one way or the other on Poltergeist?
Yeah, not really. I'm not bent out of shape if we don't get it. It was kind of a cool idea. I didn't get to do the original one. I wasn't here for that, but Um, I mean, whether we get it or not doesn't really offend me one way or the other. It would be kind of cool, but if it's a Hollywood exclusive, then good for them. They it's nice when we get different things. Like I don't like it when everything is bi-coastal because then it's like there's no variety there, and I think you need to kind of give people a reason to want to go to both if they want to.
Yeah, that's been my reasoning for never going to Hollywood, where I'm like, it's a big expense, and if I'm
It
only
is.
seeing like two different things other than scare zones, then like for
Right.
me, it's just not worth it.
I
There
really
has
want
to be a
to.
draw there that makes me want to go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I've just always wanted to do the Terror Tram. Is all I was gonna say. It always looks very fun, and because I've never been to the Hollywood Universal, I've always wanted to do the backlot tour anyway. So that'd be really fun. But
I will say, I mean, I've heard hit or miss on the tram. I've heard some people say that it's really, really good, and I've heard people say that it's not really that fun. But being from New England, I do miss my good old haunted hayrides, and I know that we had a great one with Sir Henry's last
that
year,
was super fun.
and I would love to see them do it again.
They are. They announced it
Are they doing
recently.
another hayride?
They announced it recently. Yeah.
Because I don't get to do a whole lot of hayrides anymore, and I miss that specifically. So.
Yeah. So I at some point I'm sure we will get out there. I don't think it'll be a regular thing, but it does have to be a big enough event to pull me through, like to pull me out there, and we'll see how it pans out. But again, when there's
It is tough to justify when it's similar or when it's the same houses.
yeah, and like even when people like you look at Stranger Things 4 and people are like, oh, the Hollywood one was better. It's like, oh, but it's the same thing, so I don't care. Like it has to be completely different for me, property wise.
Dip prop. Yep.
All right, so next up is kind of a rumor that came and went and then came back, and that would be the whole WWE Wyatt Six horrors of wrestling rumor. It originated as sort of a Bray Wyatt Six, and then it sort of went away a little bit, and then people kind of said it's still hanging around. Like I think when we discussed it and it wasn't on one of the spec maps, we were both kind of like, I think it's still happening. Like I have faith in this one because it's such a bizarre thing to throw out there. Like I don't think you can confuse this with a different property. Like when you have like Poltergeist and you're like, oh, it could be this, could be Conjuring, could be Insidious, could be like it's a haunted house. WWE is like pretty wild for something to get confused on. So when I first heard this rumor, I was like, it's bizarre, but like those are the rumors that usually pan out. Like those are the ones that I put stock in.
Yeah.
So I lost my train of thought. But either way, it's seemingly still kicking around. Seamus, we talked about it before, but what are you leaning towards? Do you want horrors of WWE or do you want like a Wyatt's?
I would be fine with either. Like I said, I'm more familiar with like if we're doing like Undertaker or something along those lines, or maybe like. I mean, outside of him, I can't really think of anybody from that era that would make sense. So if it's like Taker and Kane and some sort of mashup of that era's storylines, fine. But Wyatt just makes so much sense because of who he was, what he was able to accomplish, especially in the era that he did, and the just how creative he was and how much of a storyteller he was able to be. I think it would be so fitting for Horror Nights to honor him in that way, because I feel like we really haven't gotten to honor him. I mean, as wrestling fans, they've done some stuff here and there, but like I feel like there wasn't enough of a true like send off for a lot of people, and I think for something like this, especially being in Orlando, where he was living, where WWE is basically based now, I feel like this is the theme. This is the park out of the two of them to get this type of tribute to him. So I think if I'm gonna pick between the two, I would rather Wyatt just for that reason. But at the same time, I could see them wanting to do like Taker or something, because Taker is legendary and it fits the theme of horror and Halloween to a T.
Yeah. That was what my other thought was. I forget exactly what it was, but when I was watching WrestleMania, they did announce there was this co-op competition, like contest thing with WWE and Universal, where they were giving something away. I'll have to look it up to, I'll look it up real quick. But it was weird that they had that connection. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But Jamie, any care for the wrestling?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind having either of them. I mean, when you and I first got together and you kind of first really showed me wrestling, you were like, I think you would really like this guy, and talking about Bray Wyatt and like the Firefly Funhouse and stuff like that. So I enjoy having that connection of it and knowing about it, but kind of like you were saying, Seamus, other than that, I can't really see someone else kind of fitting that like genre as well as he would have. But then again, I do love a compilation, so I wouldn't mind seeing a bunch of different stuff, Undertaker, whatever route they decided to go with that. But yeah, either way, wouldn't mind me. Recently in the interview that we did with Mark, I did mention one of my favorite things about Horror Nights over the years and how it's changed is that it's always doing something different or trying to evolve, and I feel like this would be something different for sure.
I looked up the contest. It is you win a trip from WWE to Universal Orlando Resort.
Huh.
So you can win a 4-night trip for 4 people, a round-trip airfare to Orlando, ground transportation. They're putting you up at the Terra Luna.
Oh, fun.
And you can use it for Epic as well. Opportunity to meet WWE talent Cody Rhodes, subject to talent availability.
Nice.
So seems like Cody Rhodes is not going to be there. That's just a little tag on.
Might
Seems
not
like
be
he's
there.
not going to be around that week, but no, that was a really weird thing that I saw that I was like, that's just more fuel to the fire for me. Whereas like, okay, something's going on. There's been talks, and if there's talks about that, why would there not be talks about Horror Nights as well? I'll be curious, like what kind of route they take. Do we walk through these different matches? Are we going to walk through an Inferno match, a Hell in a Cell match, a casket match? Like, is it Mankind? Do we get Kane? Do we get Paul Bearer? Like,
I'm
Boogeyman?
not it'll be like
Doink.
wrestling itself. Like, it won't be like the act of wrestling. It's gonna be more the stories.
Imagine
of the characters.
Scare actors are just body slamming each other.
I know, right?
Yeah. Someone
Fucking
gives you a
German
Stone Cold
suplex
clothesline.
on their wall or some shit.
Ray Ripley spits in my mouth.
Don't hit me with the good stuff.
Dominic Mysterio pulls up.
Dirty Dom.
Dirty
is in
Dom.
there. He whips you in the face with his dirty ass mullet.
Oh, I would love it.
Well, it's going to be interesting, too, is like you see a lot of the WWE wrestlers that love going to the event, too.
Yeah,
so
you do see a lot of
I
them.
feel like you'll see even more and more of them.
Yeah.
We've, not to say we've like run in and talked to them, but I've seen a lot of them walking around.
I have a feeling that if it is Wyatt, if it turns out to be the Wyatt 6, I think that there will be some sort of special event for a lot of them to show up. I think that there will be...
Oh, I'm sure they'll bring them in.
And they'll have a bunch of them, and a lot of them will just come and just to be there. And I think it's going to be relatively emotional too if it's him, because I think he had a bigger fan base than people want to give him credit for. I think there was a lot of people that really followed what he did, because again, he wasn't the tradition. He wasn't your typical bodybuilder, guy in spandex, doing flips and suplexes and shit. Like, he tried to bring storytelling back to wrestling and make it more of a spectacle, which I think it had lost after like the Attitude Era ended. I think that mystique of it, the storytelling, kind of fell off, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring that back." I feel like this is what wrestling's been missing for the last 20 years. Like, we need someone that is willing to go to different lengths when it comes to storytelling and really, that's a terrible word to use, but die for my art. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I need to tell these stories. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy if I can't tell these stories.
Yeah, and he was definitely one of a kind.
And I think I'm talking myself into him more than anything else. Like, I do want to see it happen, but
I think the rumors now are pointing more towards like horrors of WWE, but I would prefer Wyatt's. And even if it is horrors of WWE, I do think that Wyatt will have a huge presence in there regardless. I was talking off mic to Ryan for the Love of Theme Parks, and he's a huge WWE like wrestling fan too, and he's like, well, if this is like a real thing, like if this actually happens, like we'll have him on and talk wrestling. That'll be more of like
for sure.
a wrestling based episode. And I did cook up a little a special thing for that episode if it is to come at some
We get the
point.
announcement.
Yeah, we're dressing up as wrestlers, that's for sure. I already ordered my get up. Just so you guys are aware.
I actually
already ordered
didn't
it
even
on
know
Amazon.
about this, so.
Nobody did.
did
Put
not.
them both on the spot, so
Oh, don't you
you're
worry.
gonna have to
I'll make it happen. You just gonna tell me when.
you're gonna have to pick a wrestler. I know me and Ryan showed me a little something that he was doing at the parks today, so I know his outfit already.
Who's
So it'll
dressing
be-
up?
Oh, I will.
Us.
For 100%.
Not I.
I will.
Well, then you'll be the only one. We'll get you a referee shirt or something.
Yeah, we'll
we're
make it
dressing up on the episode, or what are we trying to do
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant to horror nights.
Oh, maybe that too.
No.
We can do that too.
No.
I'm getting myself that cooler.
Yeah, I know.
I'll wear that, Seamus. The fanny pack cooler. Stone cold.
All right, so let's move along then. Now we got Terrifier. This is one that's been around. This is Fallout, Terrifier, and the next one we'll talk about have been the longest lasting rumors. This we sort of pointed at it last year as well, and this year. I did put it on the guest map this year too. It's like it does make sense. Like its popularity, its stock is rising. I think you could still buy low on it. I don't think it's that top tier IP money. I don't think you're spending Shining money or Freddy Krueger money on Terrifier. I think that you can still buy it a little bit low, even though the stock is hot, before the next movie inevitably comes out. But I know we've already discussed, do we think it can push the limits as far as the gore? I am in the camp that I think gore-wise it's not a non-issue. I think there's other things in the movies that will just sort of be pushed to the side and not talked about. But like I mentioned at the very top when we were talking about Fallout for Seamus, this is one of the two Jamie houses. This is like made specifically for us. So Jamie, what are your thoughts on Terrifier? I mean, I think this is another confident one for us.
Yeah, I mean, the more and more that it gets closer to the event, the more it makes me think that's actually going to happen, which I never thought I'd be able to say before, just coming from being an indie film that just became such a hot commodity in the horror world. It's crazy to think about. But my only thing is I'm interested to see if it's just going to be the first Terrifier, if they're going to try to include the second one as well, or I just hope it kind of flows and it isn't kind of just like a best of Terrifier, which would be okay too. But when we get those IP houses for movies that I enjoy, and even though I'm not really into like the heavy gore and stuff, I feel like Terrifier just has that comedic relief that makes it more enjoyable. So I think it'll be fun to see that portrayed in the house too. And it's hard to even imagine just because I didn't think it would ever happen, So I really don't even know what to expect. But I don't have any doubt that I think that Universal will have it live up to expectations and still be that big ticketed house that people are going to be waiting in line for, as I will be too.
Yeah, and this one, I think this one out of all of them is the one that is most kind of confirmed, based off of Hollywood. Over in Hollywood, when they build their tents, like they are much more out in the open with things.
Yeah.
And you can see their facades. They're already building like exterior facades, and the facade seemingly is looking just like the Terrifier Funhouse entrance. It's got like the way it's being built is like you can see the Sith blade kind of already taking shape, and this was pointed out from
You mean Scythe?
Scythe, sorry. What did I say? Sith.
Scythe. I'm like, are we doing Star Wars house? Let's go.
That's I've been talking Star Wars.
Sorry,
already.
I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
Sith, Scythe blade, Scyther.
Scyther.
This was I saw our friends at 365 were posting about this via their friend in Hollywood who takes pictures for them on the coast, but it does line up perfectly to the Terrifier Funhouse entrance. So
It's pretty cool.
if I had to guess, I think it would be sort of a best of kind of compilation-y thing. I think we'll just get the best scenes of the trilogy. I don't think I think it would just be called Terrifier. I don't, or art or something like that. But I don't think we're following storylines at all.
I do love a good storyline, but that's okay.
So Seamus, I mean, are you locked in on this, Seamus? You think this
I don't
is
have much more to add than I've already
kind of coming
talked
at this
about.
point?
I mean, I'm not like I'm not poo pooing it. Like if it happens, great. I think it's a solid property to use. And I think it's kind of long overdue, to be honest with you, because I feel like it's been a cult hit for years now. I don't even think it's like a new phenomenon.
No.
It's just be kind of hit a head at this point because the third movie came out. Everybody's been talking about it. They had that big, we did better than whatever movie it was push.
Oh God, yeah. What was that?
But again, I just don't want people to set themselves up for unrealistic expectations. I think, again, I beat this dead horse raw at this point. But
More
for
dead.
me, I just think that I'll be excited for it because I think it'll be cool to see Art the Clown in person. I think they do a really good job, but I feel like it's just going to be somewhat of a letdown for a lot of people. But.
And it's kind of good that it's in a year like this where if Terrifier
it doesn't have to be the big yeah,
and it could I think they could bill Art as like the number one, but if we're talking about a year with a Fallout and a WWE and Terrifier and Five Nights, like it can be a solid number three. Like when you're going through your pitching rotation, like, yeah, your number three might be an ace on like the worst team in baseball, but this is like a great number three starter. Could be the best number three starter in the best league. So I'd be curious. So again, let's move along now to the next property that seemingly is a Jamie property, and that's Five Nights at Freddy's. So, I mean, Jamie, I'll just let you take the lead on this one. We've talked about it before, so we don't have to spend too much time on it. But Five Nights, this is coming up, Jamie.
I think it's happening. I think Universal finally listened to me and my pleads and are making this an IP heavy year with some heavy hitter IPs, because last year we unfortunately, other than Insidious, didn't really get too many big draws, or at least not for me. That's just personal bias though. But I think this year is going to be a good roundup. I've been talking about having Five Nights at Freddy's come to Horror Nights since the movie came out, honestly, and I think the video game franchise was already big enough. I think it'll be a great draw for people. I do think it's going to be a pretty long line for this house on a regular, but I also do think that maybe once people start doing the house, I'm kind of worried. I mean, it'll be good for me if the lines are shorter, but I'm kind of worried that maybe if they're disappointed in it, or if it's just not up to their expectations, that maybe it won't be that long of a line afterwards. But I have faith that Universal's not going to let me down, and this will be a very cool house.
I think this might be the year we actually have to pull the trigger on Express.
I think so too. I was thinking about it. We talked about it the other day.
This is a dangerous territory here for these IPs.
I know.
It
really is. It's tough.
And if it lands on a 5-5 split versus like a 6-4 split, like when there's more originals, we can kind of work around it. But also, I'm like, do I want to keep staying staying out till 3 a.m. every day now? So we'll see when we get
anyways.
there. I know, and I will, and I still will. But now I'm going to do like 20 houses instead of 10.
I was going to say, early in the night it'll be great, but then you're still going to be like, oh man, it's 1:30, but fucking Fallout, it's only like 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
oh,
yep.
Come on.
Yep. It's every year at this point, I'm kind of like, oh, I'm going to get Express this year. And then it comes out and I'm like, $1,000.
Well, now that you have a free bedroom, I'm just going to crash at your place. Fuck it.
Oh, yeah, do it. But yeah, I don't know. This might be the year I finally pull the trigger and like actually treat myself, because the amount of time we spent talking about this throughout the year, I deserve. Everybody here deserves it.
It's either that or
treat yourself.
I finally be good and go to my doctor and get my doctor's note and actually go through with it and get it for us. But
you should do that. But even for your own sanity.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I mean, if there's a payment plan, I might look at it.
If you could still do Klarna to buy the tickets like I did that one year, I think I might do it.
Yeah, because if it's like a couple $100, for 2 or 3 or 4 payments or whatever, then I can space it out. That's better for me.
Well, it's better than $700 up front, whatever.
Yeah, because we were looking at the prices and it was like, I think last year was like mid 800s for the one we get with Express, which is crazy, but
it is wild money.
but it's, I mean, the amount of times we do go, it definitely does pay for itself, that's for sure. But it's a whole extra $600 or $500.
And I feel like I'd be more inclined to like going more and staying more because I feel like those times that like you'll go without me or vice versa, I only stay for a couple hours, leave early. It's just because those lines are very, very tough for me to wait in, and I hate to sound like a brat, but they're very. It's hot outside. I get very nauseous when I'm waiting in lines for too long. It's just, it's a terrible mixture for me. It honestly puts a damper on my night even when it's not raining outside. So either Express or the disability would be the best way for me to go. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Express is looking like I might not have to do it.
Yeah, but all right. So let's move on. This is I think the most recent IP rumor, and this is the one that I think Seamus. I'm not sure if you caught wind of this yet, but my boy,
Oh shit!
is being rumored to come back
Really?
to Halloween Horror Nights this year. So this is a new one. There hasn't been a lot of talks about. Oh, I'm sorry if you're just listening in podcast form.
Next to my
say,
boy, it could have been fucking like.
And I showed a
Bluey or
picture of
some
my
shit.
shirt. It is Jason Voorhees, Mr. Voorhees, if you're nasty. There's a rumor
is
that
Fox in this new show, by the way.
and this is a tricky one with those rights things, similar to Scream, where it's like, do we believe it? Do we not? What is it? The rumor is it's more or less a Jason house versus a Friday the 13th.
They probably can't
house.
even call it Friday the 13th if they wanted to because of the show, right? The new one that's coming out. So.
Well, and the show's Camp Crystal Lake, and that's on Peacock.
That's right. It's not called Friday the 13th.
If I remember the rights issues correctly, somebody owns the rights to the name Friday the 13th, and somebody owns the rights to Jason. And I think I forget
Cunningham
what it is.
owns Friday the 13th because he made the first one, which didn't have Jason as the hockey mask wearing slaughterer.
Mm-hmm. And then like the person that wrote the screenplays owns like the Jason character.
Yeah.
So that's how they're doing Camp Crystal Lake, because they're not calling it Friday the 13th, but it's no Jason.
He's not even in the show, right?
No, it's Pamela Voorhees.
Yeah.
Who I forget who's playing Pamela, but it's
Velma.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Hawkeye's wife.
Hawkeye's wife from MCU. But yeah, either way, so this is a really new, interesting one. What do you? I mean, like I said, this year's made for us because like you had Fallout, me and you both sort of have WWE. Jamie's got Five Nights and Terrifier, but Friday is like more right up my alley.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Jason at the event. I know he's been there, but like it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've gotten a lot of the major slashers over the last few years. We got Michael not that long ago. If we get Terrifier and we get Friday at the same event, I mean that's I mean I don't know how they top it. I don't know how they top this year. I mean the originals would really have to suck for it to be a bad year.
Yeah,
if you think about it, because you have, I mean, they either took the criticism of last season to heart and really just went all out, or were kind of already had this in the back of their heads. They're like, we've already got a bunch of stuff lined up for next year, so this year is going to be kind of weak because of the new park and everything. But next year, we're going to be open, we're ready to go, we're going to have a whole bunch of, extra revenue to play with. I think that they were just like, shit, let's just try to get everything we can get that we've wanted to get.
And the last time Jason was there was 25. That was Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, right.
But the last time he had his own house was 17, just called Camp Blood. Or it was Friday the 13th Camp Blood. So I think that would sort of be the same route where they give it that fake name where it's just like...
Yeah, it'd be Jason and Camp, Diamond
Camp Blood
River.
2.
Yeah. It's going to be Jason's ultimate kill count.
Yeah. But better.
But I'm excited. I really hope this one comes to fruition. This is a newer rumor. I feel like this is like food that's like it's only like half cooked right now. It needs to sit around a little bit longer.
Was there what was the what generated this rumor? Like what happened or what was said, or because we haven't seen anything on the maps that would like scream Voorhees. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I mean, maybe the Scream stuff, like masked slasher, and it kind of got, caught up in the crosshairs. But yeah, it's starting to gain traction, and people are talking about it more and more now. I think I saw it kicked around earlier, and it seemed like it was more of just like a hypothetical, but then other people start backing it up.
Sometimes we hear things, and it's just somebody just says like, "Oh, Jason might be there," with no backing whatsoever. There's no like anything to base that on. It's just
I think
he's going to be there. So like you never know like with some of these things, because people will just say things and it will grow legs and travel from there. But yeah, I'd be down. I mean, as of right now, of all the IPs we've talked about tonight, like if 4 of the 6 or 7 that we've talked about happen, I think this year is going to be incredible. And we haven't even really discussed originals yet because we haven't heard.
Yeah, which is wild because we're more original, stands, and then like if the IPs are hitting for us, like, and I think that's just something that's been missing. I think I talked about it on a couple episodes ago where I was like, there's always like 1 or 2 IPs that I'm like, that's cool, but like I haven't there. It's been a while since there's been an IP for me that I was like, oh my god, yes, I can't wait for this. This is like one of my favorites. Jason is one of those.
Yeah, and again, I think this is shaping up as of right now. If a lot of the rumors happen to be true, to be, finally a year in a long time where everyone has something IP wise to be like, damn, like this is gonna be good. Like this they're really going for it this year. So I think that if it's true, then yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility.
Jamie,
and I'm a Jason guy too, so
yeah. I was gonna say here. I'll show.
I got my Kane Hodder signed Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan signed. No biggie.
I got my camera's all shitty, but I got my banner of the video game.
Man, I wonder who got you that cool guy. That cool banner.
I will die on the hill that Jason Takes Manhattan is a fucking chef's kiss of cinema and
never
one of
seen
the best
it.
Friday the 13th. You are fucking up if you've not seen this movie.
Never.
Like, this is peak 80s Jason, peak early 90s Jason. I have
Jason
the whole thing.
boat.
I have the whole set on. I have the whole series on Blu-ray, Jamie. So if you want to borrow
I have
Jason
all of them
Takes
too.
Manhattan, you need to sit down and watch that. The movie is glorious in how bad it is, but how awesome it is at the same time.
For me,
It's a really fun one.
I will
They
watch
take a
it
boat
at some
from
point.
Crystal Lake to New York City.
God.
How is that not incredible?
So ridiculous.
It's
No,
pretty much Jason on a boat.
no, okay,
It
fair
is.
enough. But I was just gonna say, Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees doesn't really do anything for me. Probably next to Ghostface, it would probably go Ghostface last, and then Jason. So
Wow.
he's not really my
Really?
he's not really my fave. No, I would have rather seen Freddy. Honestly, was really hoping we would get Nightmare this year if we were gonna get a big slasher name. And honestly, I'm pretty biased, but I wouldn't have mind seeing Mikey again. even though we have him so very often, I just really need a Rob Zombie Halloween house.
Well, I'm gonna see.
We haven't done that
next-
iteration. I know, Seamus.
see
Don't
Rob
even
next
fucking
week.
Don't
don't even fucking
So
talk about
I'll,
it. I'm pissed.
I'll mention it to him. Be like, "Yo, Rob.
I know.
But my girl Jamie needs to see one of your houses at Horror Nights."
I know. I got my House 1000 Corpses and 3 from Hell poster I hung up back there, actually. Bastards. But, yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool because, like you said, we haven't seen Jason in quite some time, other since Freddy vs. Jason was the last time that we had it. But then at Carnival of Carnage, you had mentioned he was there as well. I was there as a wee lad, so I don't remember too much of him. And
You would be a wee lass.
wee lass. Thank you, Seamus. Our resident Irish Nick and Seamus correcting me. But I was gonna say that I don't think I did that house because I was, like I said, I was probably like 9 or 10 when this was going on, and I was too scared, and I regret it every day of my life now. But it is fun seeing him at the event because it is such a big name, and since we don't see him as often as we have with Leatherface or with Mikey, it's nice to have something different if this does
we haven't
come to fruition and even happens, you know?
We haven't had a major slasher in a while too. So
Right.
I mean, obviously we had Leatherface a few years ago. I don't know if we had Was it Mikey then Leatherface or Leatherface then Mikey? I forget which way it
I
was.
think it was Leatherface and then Mikey, if I'm
Then
not
Mikey,
mistaken. Or maybe
probably.
no. I think you were right, Seamus. The first time I think it was Mikey and then
Then Mikey
Leatherface.
then
It might have
Leatherface.
been.
Yeah.
It might have
So
been.
I mean, we haven't had a major heavy hitter in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't even consider Leatherface a heavy hitter. We talked about that. He's like my 4 or 5 in there. But yeah, I mean, I think if you get Art and Jason at the same event,
That's a
I
big
mean,
deal. That's
heads are gonna fucking explode.
yeah, literally. But
Literally.
it'll be interesting to see, Nick, how you said it's just gonna be a Jason based house. Because I do kind of hope it still has that like campy aesthetic to it, because I feel like that is one of the things that I enjoy about
I
the
think
Friday the
it will.
13th like franchise. And I hope they don't try and like make him some like Jason, but it's not Jason. I hate when they have to do that with licensing and write stuff. I just hope he's actually there, you know.
If it's just Jason with the bag head from 2,
I kind of
Dude,
like
don't-
Baghead Jason.
That'd be sick.
I like
I don't
Baghead
mind
Jason.
it.
Give-
Like,
no,
and we would all know.
I'm gonna
what
plug
it
in my
is.
laptop.
Kid,
Hold
give
on.
me Kid Jason with the fucked
Yeah.
up face, like jumping out of water and shit.
But yeah, so Friday the 13th is the most recent of the rumors. So let's move along now. The last ones are pretty much originals that we've kind of talked about a little bit as well. But the Cary, Ohio TV station, Leave It to Cleaver style thing is kind of in flux. I've seen a bunch of different things here and there, but I'm very curious what it's going to be. So, Seamus, would you prefer like and this is all sort of newer-ish to you, but Cary, Ohio versus Leave It to Cleaver? Do you have a preference on either?
I've never done Leave It to Cleaver. I don't really know what that is, but I don't really care one way or the other. I think it's just I want to experience more of the lore and see what it was like. So either one. I don't think I would pick one or the other at the moment. So
Yeah. So Leave It to Cleaver, we saw a bit of it at Scary Horror in the Heartland at 31.
yep,
I'm pretty bad with the years, but
something like that. Yeah.
this was a house at 2009, so 19, I think it was, ripped from the silver screen, and it's sort of like Texas Chainsaw ish in the sense that they're like a meat stand killing people, and they're selling people
Yeah.
as their deli meat. And a big part of this that's interesting is that it was Mike Aiello who played the character in like the promotional stuff for Sam Meats.
Oh, really?
So it would be funny if they decide to bring it back under his watch.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny.
So I'm cool with either of them, because I think Sam Meats and um what am I? HR Blood and Guts like are both pretty fun little characters from the past that it would be, would be fun to revisit. I'm cool with either of them, but I did start seeing, like people are talking about the Carrie TV stuff, and it's like, how would they do the holidays in horror and the mashup? Like, if they did a mashup, would it be too similar to stuff we've seen in the past? So I started that, like I mentioned it last time. It'd be funny if HR and Blood and Guts was sort of like the TV talk show host, kind of like Late Night of the Devilly.
Mhm.
So I'd be interested to see that. And I'm also interested to see if it's just a completely different Cary, Ohio based thing. Like if we stick with the TV station, I don't know why I thought of this, but what if they did like because I was thinking of different like guest host shows. What if it was like an evil Bob Ross, like a painting show? Just like a evil artist paintery guy.
That
I
would be
think that
kinda
would be
funny.
really fun. Like a musician would be fun. Like some different form of like artistic media would be interesting to tie in. But yeah, that's one that's kind of been, the originals are really tough to nail down. That's for sure. The other rumor was that whole Urban Inferno, which is kind of what people were suspecting was that image over in New York with like the city landscape and the fire and the devil mask or whatever. That one doesn't do it for me. That seems a little silly that they'd pull, because Urban Inferno is like a Hollywood scare zone. I think it would be very silly if they pulled that. I mean, we have so much at our disposal. We have 33 years worth of stuff to dig through.
Right.
But like, and we choose a scare zone from Hollywood that nobody knows
Yeah.
about. Like that seems a little out there. I don't buy that one. Do you think that like has any legs at all?
I mean, it does only in the sense that they've done it before, where they've pulled scare zones and made houses out of it, or they've pulled houses from one side of the country and moved it to the other. So, could it happen? Maybe. I doubt it because usually I think you see, like, if there's a scare zone at Orlando, that eventually you'll see like an Orlando house based on the scare zone if it was well accepted. I can't imagine it's happened often, if at all, where you've had a scare zone in like L.A. that everybody seemed to like, and they brought it to Orlando,
I don't think that's
or vice
happened.
versa. So I don't think so. I doubt it. It's never say never. I mean, it's obviously things can happen, especially if it was a popular scare zone. If people really liked it, then I could see why they would do that. But I feel like they would do a house at Hollywood first, based on one of their scare zones, before they ever thought about bringing it to Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't buy that one. Maybe that image means something else, but I just don't buy that it's Urban Inferno. I really
Yeah.
don't. But yeah, so the next
I'd buy
original.
into the Crow rumor more than anything
Oh yeah, right.
before I buy into that.
And I think that's more of a. I think it's an original based off of the
Yeah, I
fact
think
that
it's
it's.
an original too.
So I think it's more of a. I don't know. I think we talked previously like a graveyard. I had graveyard vibes from that image, so I was thinking graveyard games or graveyard deadly unrest or something like that. So that's more where my mind is. I don't have any backing to prove that, but that was just what the image kind of gave to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other rumors: Viking undead or pirates. That's seemingly one of the long-standing rumors. I think the rumor is really just from the spec map itself. I haven't really specifically seen anybody say
Yeah,
like
nobody's been talking about it or anything like that.
no. So like I think we're just going off of the map, which is dangerous at times, especially on the first couple, because the originals are just incredibly hard to lock down and kind of get a feel for
Right.
them.
But I also think that being that Vikings Undead was such a popular scare zone, like we were just talking about, that like when you have a really popular scare zone,
It won our
it's
bracket.
right, it's only inevitable that it eventually becomes a house, and I feel like Vikings Undead is one of those that will eventually be a house. So if it's this year, I can see it because it's been what, 5 years, 6 years at this point
So
since
what was
we
that,
did it. So
29?
2019. So yeah, so 6 years. I think it's right at the right time to do it. Maybe even a little longer than they probably should have waited, but if they're gonna do it, they probably should do it in the next year or so. So I don't see why that's an impossible, ask. And plus it would be a big original, be one of their bigger originals over the
I
last
think
few
so too.
years.
Yeah, I think so too. And if you are listening / watching, oh, Jamie just joined. Oh,
She's back.
Jamie's back. Okay, I was just
God,
was
no.
just
Sorry,
saying
everyone.
Jamie's computer died.
Oh my God. Yeah, sorry. I didn't. I know. In my new setup, I forgot I had my charger in the drawer and on the floor, and I was all over the place. But I'm back. What did I miss?
So we talked about the whole Carry Ohio, leave it to Cleaver
Okay.
kind of thing.
Yep.
I threw out the idea of, because we were talking about different forms of, if you're going to do Carry Ohio TV, you could have like those TV show host kind of things. So sort of late night at the Devilly, or even what if there was like an evil Bob Ross, like a
That would be
painting
pretty
kind of
cool.
thing, like an artist. I'm trying to think of other like artistic forms of media that are presented. Like a musical artist would be interesting as well. But also the Leave It to Cleavers kind of getting kicked around too. I think there's something with the Carry Ohio world happening. I just don't know if anybody knows what it is yet. Would you prefer like I know what you're going to prefer, but HR Blood and Guts like TV style house, or would you prefer like a Leave It to Cleaver with Sam Meeks?
Probably HR Blood and Guts style TV house. I think would be very fun. And like you said, Late Night with the Devil, immediately, whenever I think of like 70s like talk show host, I go to that, and that would just be such a cool idea to bring into a house.
And then we quickly glanced over the whole Urban Inferno rumor.
Okay. I remember that one. That's an older one.
and it's a scare zone from Hollywood, but that's what people were thinking was the image on the spec map with like the city landscape and stuff like that. But I don't buy it. I don't. Seamus doesn't really buy it either. What I do you put any stock in that?
Not so much. That was for the city icon you said with like the
Yeah.
scythes and the skull and stuff like that. I mean, we had
Yeah.
really no other idea of what that could have been. So maybe who knows? But maybe you guys had mentioned it when I was on my little intermission here. But rarely do I feel like we take stuff from Hollywood. I think last year was the first time, or one of the first times with Monstros. Before that, I think the other time had been House of Thousand Corpses. Hollywood had first, and then we had gotten it. So it would be interesting to see them bring a scare zone to turn it into a house. Don't know how well that scare zone did over there, but it would be an interesting choice. So I don't really have too much faith for that one now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's a silly get. I don't think we put much stock into a random scare zone from
Yeah.
Hollywood. Like we have so much stuff to choose from on our end. But yeah, and then we talked about Vikings, Undead, and Pirates. One of the two. It's been a rumor without being a rumor. Like people haven't really talked about it, but it was on the map. But I think it makes sense to bring Undead back. I mean, it did win the Fear and Beer March Madness tournament for Scare Zone. That should be a house. So
It did.
if they're listening, if you're out there listening, some of you are. I know you are, you sick bastards. You listening to us, not saying anything, taking our ideas. You perverts. So the next one up, Hatchet and Chains or some sort of Western original. This is, we did see a picture somebody posted on one of the Facebook groups or Discords. Out by Tent 2, there was a little like old school Western.
I saw that. Carriage, like a baby carriage.
Carriage. Yeah, bigger than that, but it was like a horse-drawn carriage kind of thing. I don't know. It felt very Western. But again, you could stick that anywhere. You know, it doesn't. It screamed Western to me, but that could be put really anywhere. But are we ready for some Western horror?
Yes.
I know you guys are.
I am ready.
Yeah. I hope they call it Texas Roadhouse. I hope we get free cinnamon butter and buns with that house. But yeah, I'm really down with this. It is interesting bringing back a Slaughter Cinema 2 house or room immediately the year
So
after.
quickly.
It's quick, but you know there's a slight precedent with that, with them doing Yeti the year after. I know it's not the same, but it was like same enough. You know, it was Swamp Ape into a Terror Yukon, so it definitely was them testing the waters with that idea. The last couple things, there's been the rumor kicking around that there's sort of a toy doll based house. I don't know if it's a Dollhouse of the Damned sequel. I don't know if it's a Toys from Hell, which was also, I think, a Hollywood scare zone. I'm curious. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's any stock in a Toys doll based house that's not Chucky or Megan?
I think it could be something. I think maybe that could be our Christmas book, kind of like holiday toys, kind of like I had brought up with like the Nutcracker and like little like wind up toys and creepy stuff like that. Maybe I just really want a holiday house too. So,
You do want the holiday
but it
house.
could be cool if that was the toy route that they're going. Kind of toys coming to life Christmas Eve. Yeah, I can see it now. I'm onto something.
I would like the Dollhouse of the Damned like sequel, like just that creepy
That would be fine too.
style thing. But even like just like all these different toys coming to life, kind of like Slaughter Cinema, like hokey, funny thing. I think that
Puppet
could be
Master?
a good comedy house. Yeah, exactly. Like I think it could be a very good comedy house. I would have like it mostly be the children and the parents. Like it's like Small Soldiers. Like I want Small Soldiers turned into a house.
You love that movie.
I do. If you're a listener, you got to go watch Small Soldiers and Popstar. That's your homework for this week. Seamus, do you want? I mean, this is seemingly a newer-ish rumor. I don't know if you've heard this at all, but any thoughts on the Toys Dolls original?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, again, I'm a sucker for a dummy house. for a dollhouse because I hate dolls. Scary dolls can fuck right off. So I'm all set with that, but at the same time, it would be one of the scarier houses. So yeah, I'm down. Make it happen.
All the fun mannequins for you.
Mhm.
This last one is not as much of a Jamie, what are you typing away at over there?
Had to look up
Not
something
as
real
much of
quick.
a
Sorry. Continue.
not as much of a rumor. I don't know where this would play or where it would go or what it would be, but Universal in January did trademark the Hamikuma, which is the little like creepy teddy bear doll thing that is used in the HHN Japan. It's this. I'll send a picture of it to the group so we can all see it right now. But it's
He's
just this
so cute.
cute is one word, but he's got like his eye hanging out, his guts are hanging out, but they're all very colorful, and he's got these claws. It's been used before. It's a little teddy bear. I don't know if the trade it was a U.S. trademark. They trademarked it here for Orlando or at least the U.S. So I don't know if that means much of anything, but it has been brought up, and I don't think we've ever discussed it here, but it's out there. So would this be a house? Would it be a scare zone? Would it be part of like the toys house maybe? Seamus, did you see that picture I sent of this
I saw that
little
picture.
fucker?
It's merch. That's
Yeah,
what it is. I
this is
think
the
they're
new
just
little boo.
And
yeah,
I
it's
would
just
hit, and
yeah.
I'm gonna eat it up.
That's exactly what it is. I think it's just like the next little boo. It's something that's caught on. People have gotten really head over heels for it. Obviously, Jamie's reaction. So I think that if anything, it's trademarked so they can sell it.
I'd be curious if they would sell. You think they would sell any of it merch wise if they didn't have it at the event anywhere?
No.
Yeah, why not?
Just the doll and that's
Uh-uh.
it. No,
Yeah,
I think they'd throw it somewhere,
I think
like
they
a
would
house
too.
or something.
guess so. But Lil Boo was what, a pumpkin outside a fucking pumpkin
That's
lord.
true.
That's all he was, and he caught on
Right.
and became. Now he's not even at the event, and they have more Lil Boo merch than I think we know what to do with. And this is
Yeah.
not. I'm not throwing shade at Lil Boo. Lil Boo's cool, but
But
I mean, the idea that like he has to be a part of a house for them to sell it, like that's asinine. Like if they can make money off something, they'll sell the shit. So
Right.
if he's popular right now and everybody knows who he is, and yeah, I mean, I think that primarily the trademark is because they want to sell him in the park.
or maybe that's the tester, right? Maybe they do what you're saying. They put it out just as merch, and if
Yeah.
it sells a bunch, 35, it
Make more
gets
merch.
Lil
it
Boo
gets
House.
well, it gets a call up. It gets brought into
Yeah,
something.
maybe I don't know. We'll see.
But we'll see. The last little, well, the scare zone rumor. The scare zone rumor is that we are getting 4 scare zones, not 5, which means I think absolutely nothing. I think they'll still do the little chainsaw horde up front. They're just going to not market it as a scare zone because of the blowback from last year. That's what I think. I think they're done calling it a scare zone, just so that way people stop complaining about it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which is smart, because if you're gonna keep marketing that as a scare zone and like putting zero effort into it, that's kind of bullshit.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of the last rumor that I had. But I mean, overall, this event seems like it's just ready to fire on all cylinders. I know everybody is sort of waiting and waiting for tickets and dates and stuff like, or not dates. We already have
Yeah,
dates,
they've
but
been kind of slow in the announcements this year. Like I know
yeah,
it's slow. It's May, but I mean, I feel like last year we kind of at this point already knew at least something. We knew like one house, two houses, whatever. We were getting like a bunch of stuff kind of like right off the rip. And I know that part of that was probably because of Epic, but I feel like they would have at least given us something. So I'm surprised that we've gotten to the beginning of May without at least some kernel of, to feed the masses, to keep the hungry dogs at bay.
yeah, it's been a little bit. Last year, let's see, I'm trying to pull up the dates of when stuff came out, but it was tickets. I mean, we did start the announcements last year at Spooky Empire. Slaughter Cinema was
Oh,
announced May
really?
17th.
Okay. All right.
So, but no, we're right in that area. We got Slaughter Cinema on May 17th, and then that week, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it was, that was when we got that original week. We had on May 20th was Goblins, 21st was Major Sweets, so on and so forth. And then we did get our Frequent Fear passes. I think we're announced. Where are they? I had it right in front of me, but I think Frequent Fear went on sale in July-ish. July 11th was when multi-night tickets went on sale. And as far as single day tickets, that's when they dropped April 4th. So we are like pretty behind on the single night tickets. I know a lot of people have been waiting for those. More so people
we have
that
our
are
dates,
traveling.
Right? We know what the dates are. We just have.
We do know the dates. We have the dates. So we are like a month behind on single day tickets, which has.
Which I wonder if maybe the prices are going up a little bit. Then I feel like if the prices weren't changing at all or much, they would have announced it. But I feel like maybe because they're waiting, they're trying to hammer out what the single day prices are actually going to be, especially with Epic coming. You know, they're prepping for Epic to open. I feel like they probably expect that the prices will go up a little bit. And they always do. Like you can't expect the prices not to go up. But I'm cautiously waiting to see if they hike them more than they did last year.
Yeah, I think we'll see still a little increase, but nothing too wild. But it's I think it is all tied in with Epic. I think we get our tickets in June. I think June is single day, July is multi-day. I think they wait until the Epic news kind of subsides a little bit. But I could be wrong because there was actually a recent update on the website and the app. HHN started popping up for the tickets on the main page or whatever. So that got people down the rabbit hole of like, oh, it's coming. It's definitely coming soon. Like it's going to drop tomorrow or whatever. But
they're just prepping
just waiting.
But prepping the software to like have it there, like any other company would do.
But I mean, I'm getting really excited for this year as a whole. This year has been. It looks really, really good. I'm hoping stuff gets confirmed sooner rather than later because I don't want to keep talking rumors. We do seem to be behind on schedule, but other than that, it's really fun. But any other final thoughts on the year as a whole so far? The way now we have all these other, God bless you, new rumors with Friday the 13th, Leave It to Cleaver, some sort of dollhouse kind of thing. Does that add to the event for you?
It's looking pretty good so far, if you ask me.
Yeah, I can't complain. That's for sure.
No, I'm digging it so far. I'm liking it. But yeah, that's really all we got. Obviously, reminder, May 21st, we have our trivia event coming up at Top Golf Orlando at 7:30. Come on out. Come early. We got a lot of cool prizes. We got a bunch of cool people helping us out. Again, we have, Haunt Scene, Catacombs of Halloween Horror Nights, Rush of Fear, Haunt Girls, Dakota from Cathode Coasters. We have Murder on Main. We have DOA Clothing. So come on down, check it out. And that's really, I think, all we got. Shutter Sundays, we will get. I know we took like a week or so. This is the longest we've gone without an episode, but we took the week off. We're gonna adjust the schedule a little bit, and I'll probably post that in the next couple days. I think originally we had H2O coming out last week, but I don't see it on Shutter anymore. So I think we're gonna pivot to Halloween 4.
Shutter does that sometimes. They get stuff off there quick.
I have it on Blu-ray if you need it.
Yeah, I have it, but I want to do just the stuff that's on Shutter. Yeah, technically. But yeah, we're gonna make some adjustments to Shutter Sunday. But this Sunday will be Halloween 4, and then we'll figure out the rest of the month because I needed a day off. I had a bunch of work to do, and we were, as you can see, we have the new setups. So we had some decorating and whatnot to do. But other than that, I think that's all we have for you today.
Unrelated. I just wanted to put it out there. If anyone is going to be at Rockville next week, let me know. I will be there, camping it out for 4 days.
Yes, you will.
So if you happen to see me there, come say hi. I know it's crazy to think, but not horror related, kind of. But
yeah. And if you are going to Rockville, check out on Sunday. You got to support my homies. Windwalkers. That's actually their second festival because they just played the Sonic
Temple?
Festival.
Sonic Temple.
They played Sonic
Nice.
Temple today, but they're going to be
Very nice.
opening the show on for Rockville
I'll be
on
there,
Sunday.
so if you want to
It's like
find me, find me there.
11:30.
Hell yeah. Nice.
I am very jealous. You're gonna have to like FaceTime me. I might try and get a ticket. I'll see. I had a 4-day pass, but I
Send
ended
him a
up
message.
selling
Be
it.
like, keep an eye out for Seamus. He's out in the crowd somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere out there.
He'll be wearing your shirt. He'll be the only guy in
yeah.
the crowd wearing his shirt.
Right. But yeah, that's exciting. I'm jealous. I wanted to go to Rockville,
I
but
know.
I want the money more. And I also
Rob Zombie.
just didn't feel like driving out there that much. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all we got. So until next time, this is Nick.
Seamus.
This is Jamie.
Happy haunts. Thank you for listening to another episode of Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whatever streaming platform you are listening to us on. You can find us on all of our socials at Fear and Beer Pod.